Okay, grade 5. We are now in our part 3 of our topic, how do scientists investigate? So upon the investigation of the scientists, they need an instruction. So like this, as I mentioned, you need here the procedure, the step-by-step way of doing it. You also have here the material. So when we are talking about materials, all the ingredients, all the stuff that you will be needing in the experiment. So you need to list everything so that when you're buying it, you have the list. When you go to the grocery, when you go to the stationery shop, you have everything there. It's easy to shop when you have the list. Next, the procedure, it should start with numbers. That's why it is called procedure, meaning it's a step-by-step way how to do it. It should be with numbers. Okay, so you have a blank here, so you could write here the possible answer, what will be the next step. After number 2, ask an adult to help you to cut the apples into slices. What will be the possible next step? After cutting, you could arrange it on the tray. After arranging it on the tray, dip 4 slices of each apple in a lemon juice. So 4 apple with lemon juice, and then let the apples sit for 1 hour. Then compare the apples with lemon to the apples without the lemon. Then record your result. And then the last step will be repeat the observation in another hour. So if you try to look at that one, 4 apples here is with lemon. And then the other is without. This one is with lemon. And then the other group is without. Okay? Now, let's try to answer number 11. Read the procedure for apple freshness. Fill in the missing procedure. What might happen if one step was missing? What will happen if this part, example, if I try to delete this one, what will happen if you're doing an experiment? Okay, so you will not know if the apple, where should I put the apple? Is it in my working table? Is it in the paper? Is it in the tray? Is it in the oven? Is it in the fridge? That's why here it's important to complete the instruction and then be specific. Okay? After cutting, where should I put? In the bowl? In the tray? In the sink? Okay, so you need to be specific. So I need to return that one because that is very important. Now, here, if step was missing, someone following the procedure might not see it. At the same time, the result might be different. Example, doing an experiment is also same as doing cooking. So when you are cooking, if you don't know the step, you could look for a recipe in internet, right? Example, if I'm doing a floppy pancake. So same here, you have the materials. I also have here the materials. Here I have the steps. I also have here the steps or the procedure. Imagine if one of this thing is not written. What will happen to my pancake? Example, step number 2 is missing. Here it says that I need to put egg. Okay, so if I forgot to put egg, what will be the result? Do you think the result will be the same? Okay, by the way, the reason why pancake is floppy, it's because of the egg. So your pancake will not be floppy without the egg. You can still cook it, but it will not be floppy. Okay? So it should be complete at the same time. It should be in order. How about if I put egg first before the flour, before the oil, what will happen? The result will be different also. So you need to follow step 1. You need to get flour and sift it. Sifting meaning you need to use a sifter like a strainer so that you could filter the flour. The next, put the egg. Okay, after putting the egg, You need to beat it, put the vanilla and then the water, and then next mix it again, and then next cook it, and then turn it, and then put the syrup. So that is the step by step of doing fluffy pancake. Okay, now let's proceed to the next one. When you design an experiment, it is important to write your procedure so that someone who reads them can follow. Remember, when you are doing an experiment, you need to write it so that the next group, when they're doing it, they have a reference. Okay? The experiment may then give an intended result. Once you write the procedure, you will know the result because you are writing the procedure in order. This means that the original experiment was not repeated and the conclusion might be different. If you miss something, example, if you miss something here to write, the result will be different. Same also when you're doing this experiment. If you miss something in the step-by-step procedure, your result will be different. Next, number 12. Look at the procedure for the apple's freshness experiment again. What might you change about the procedure to make it easier for others to follow? Possible answer is I would write how to dip apples in the lemon juice. In this example, it didn't say how to dip the apple in the lemon juice. So if you're trying to remake this one again, you could write another instruction here, how to dip the apple. Example, get a bowl, squeeze the lemon juice, and then afterwards get the apple and then dip it into 1 second, and then after put it in the tray. So another additional instruction so that it is all specific. All instruction is specific. At the same time, the next person who will do it, they know how to dip the apple. Okay, now let's go to the last part. Explain why would scientists use a model in investigation, right? To reason. Scientists might be studying someone too large. That's why he needs to do a model. Another one is some people they need to use a model because the real one is expensive. Another is this one. Remember when you were in grade 4, we do a model of fossil. If we're going to buy a real model of fossil, it's expensive. Okay, and then you cannot afford it because some fossil cost is 1,000 reals. So compared to the materials that we used before, we just use clay, remember? And then you mold it. Then you make a cast fossil. But if you want a real cast fossil, it is really expensive. That's why it's better to use clay for doing the fossil activity. Another is it's dangerous. Some scientists they use model because when you get the real one, it is dangerous. One best example is um like dinosaurs fossils. If you want a real dinosaur fossils, you need to dig under the ground. So it's dangerous to go, to dig under the ground. It can cause accident. That's why scientists is just using model to represent its investigation. Number 14. What are some ways you can use to investigate different types of question? You can use models. You could also use survey, and then you could also use sampling. Okay, so I hope you've learned a lot today, girls. If you have some question, you could send it in WhatsApp or in Clasera. Thank you.